Hi, my name is Craig Livingston. I'm going to describe what can be done for workers who have catastrophic injuries and diseases such as mesothelioma, which you probably know is a cancer only caused by asbestos exposure, or a crush injury to their leg that prevents them from working. And what I want to talk about is the situation where the workers are not getting the treatment that they need and how to get that treatment. And sometimes they don't get that treatment because the employer is denying the accident happens or for many other reasons. But whatever reason is given by the employer or the workers' comp carrier or the private plan insurance for not providing that treatment is something that sometimes has to be dealt with, and the sooner it's dealt with, the better. For one reason, people do much better when they're treated earlier for many conditions. A second reason is that workers who go to hospitals near where the injury occurs sometimes don't go to the preeminent hospitals that specialize in the disease or the injuries where they can get the best treatment available. And unlike Medicare or Medicaid or even in-network insurance coverage, in workers' compensation, the doctors in the hospitals get paid customary and reasonable fees for their services. And what that means is that workers' compensation carriers often end up paying the highest amount to these physicians and to these hospitals, as a result of which some of the best physicians in the country who, for example, treat mesothelioma are more than happy to treat a worker who is covered by New Jersey workers' comp. Third is that in workers' compensation there are no co-pays, there are no deductibles. It is all paid directly by the insurance company, directly to the physician or the hospital. And fourth is that what really happens is that when we file emergent motions for temporary workers' compensation benefits and for medical treatment, the judge, once he rules that the worker needs this treatment, will also order the employer to pay the worker temporary workers' comp benefits, which means that the worker will get up to 70% of his or her salary at the time they were working in a tax-free payment. So for example, and I'm just using this as an example, if a worker is working today and is making $1,000 a week and gets badly injured and cannot work, the insurance company will be obligated to pay that worker $700 a week on a tax-free basis, which will be sent directly to his or her home. So that part and parcel of what we try to do is get people's wage replacement paid to them, and sometimes that's very delayed, and to make sure that they're getting the best treatment that they can possibly get. Certainly there are some insurance companies that provide that treatment, and then there are others that certainly do not provide that treatment. So how do we go about getting this? Frankly, the first thing we have to do is get a letter from a doctor, preferably your treating doctor, who says that you are in need of emergent medical care, and without that care you're going to suffer irreparable injury, and then describe what the irreparable injury is, how you're going to be hurt forever unless it's treated quickly. You would think, oh, that's easy, that's not a problem, because my doctor says he'll cooperate all the time. Well, our experience is that your doctor may cooperate with you, but he certainly doesn't cooperate so easily with us. It takes us much too long to get these letters. So what we do is we write a letter to the doctor. We say, look, doctor, what's the diagnosis? Are you treating this person? Do they have a need for emergent medical care? And will you provide that care? And then they say, we'll get to it next week, but you have to take that letter, which we also send a copy to you. You have to take that physically to the physician's office and wait around their office all day to get a response. Because we can't get you money, we can't even file a motion unless we have a letter like that from a physician. Secondly, what happens in emergent cases is that under a new law, the worker has his or her case heard within 20 days of the filing of the motion. So the motion only takes a claim petition and the motion. We can do that the same day we see you. Getting the letter from the doctor is slower, as I've said, and we attach that letter to our motion, and that is the basis for the judge ordering all the lawyers in, or the one lawyer in from the company, and us in to try to work the case out. If we can't work it out, we then put you on the witness stand, and if need be, we bring in the doctors, which sometimes happens. After that, we found that once the emergent motion is begun, generally it moves very, very quickly. But sometimes, frankly, there are some cases where the emergent motion, not every I is dotted, not every T is crossed, and therefore we have to file a regular motion for medical treatment and temporary workers' compensation benefits. That takes longer, frankly, and sometimes it takes too long, in our opinion. So one of the things we do is try to send you to people who we consider to be preeminent physicians, and we tell them we'll do our very best to get them paid. And the second thing we do is give you what is called a temporary disability form. And temporary disability, as you may know, is money that's taken out of your wages every 2 weeks, just like unemployment is. In fact, it's the same deduction. And it is paid into a fund which is supposed to pay you in case workers' compensation is not paying you for that period you're out of work, or if you break your leg at home and you can't work. So we get that money to you as quickly as we can by your filling out this form, bringing it to your employer, which they may or may not fill out, bringing it to your physician who will fill it out, and then getting it to the state of New Jersey, and you'll definitely get that money quickly. So there is some wage replacement coming in so that you can pay your bills. Now, what happens after that? Well, the course of treatment is really, in some ways, the most important issue that workers face. And we want to make sure from you that you think you're getting better in a reasonable period of time. And some of my clients know and some of my clients don't know, and we sort of have to talk to them if they call us on a regular basis, and we're in court every morning, so you really have to talk to us in the afternoon or talk to one of the excellent and very nice paralegals here, who I think are nicer than the lawyers here, but that for another discussion, and talk to them about how you're doing and whether you think you're recovering quickly enough. And if you're not, then we'll try to talk to you about that. And then once your treatment's finished, we will, about 6 months after that treatment is finished, send you to a couple of doctors, our doctor, their doctor. We will then be in court probably a year after your treatment's finished, and then we'll try to get you partial total or total disability, which means when you go back to work, you also get paid for the functional loss that you've suffered as a result of, for example, having a herniated disc in your back, or as a result of having a broken leg, or having asthma, which you didn't have before you were working. And therefore, you'll be getting this money in a tax-free payment over a period of time or in a lump sum. And you will be covered for the treatment for this condition, whether it's occupational disease or whether it's an occupational injury, for up to 2 years from the last date of treatment, so that you're sort of protected going forward to make sure that the treatment is still available to you in the future. Our experience, frankly, in my experience at least, with catastrophic diseases such as mesothelioma and the victims of it, is that these diseases are terribly difficult. In some ways, much more difficult for the family than it is for the actual victims themselves. Most of my clients seem to accept what's happening to them, and their families are tortured by this, so that what we try to do is try to get you not to be in court very often. What we try to do is try to resolve the case as much as we can before you have to come to court. And you should know that when you get to court, the vast majority of the judges, virtually all of them, are extraordinarily empathetic and sympathetic, and they'll treat you very well, and you will certainly recover money if it is a work-related injury or disease. If you want to give us a call, there's the information on our website. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you very much.